Hey y'all, Tanny Cooks here, and today is still March 2023, so we haven't reached springtime yet, and the weather is still cold. Some days it's hot, some days it's cold, but what I want to do today is show you how to make an absolutely delicious soup. I'm going to show you how to make pot roast soup with a delicious chuck roast that maybe you had the night before and you want a different recipe for your leftovers. So let's get to cooking. I'm starting off with a beautiful chuck roast. It's relatively inexpensive for a cut of red meat. It is $5.99 a pound and it's 2.35 pounds. So I paid a total price of about $14. These are the remaining ingredients we're going to use to flavor our stew, including fresh garlic, onion, carrots, and cabbage. So this will be semi-low carb. I'm adding black pepper, bay leaves, onion powder, garlic powder, oregano leaves, beef stock, unsalted, as well as canned tomatoes. So I always try to buy no salt added. The diced tomatoes are no salt added, but it still has a little bit of sodium, 15 mgs per serving, because sodium does occur in some vegetables naturally. My larger 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes has 90 mgs of sodium. The first step is to cook our meat. Let's prep our veggies. First things off, I am going to chop up my yellow onion. Now, you can use yellow onion or any onion of your choice, or leave it out altogether if you don't like it. I love onion. It has many health properties and it releases its moisture with the onion flavor, so it's really flavorful. And I love that in soups or when baking dishes to really get that flavor out. So I'm just going to chop up one onion and I'm going to place it into my baking pan. And next up, I'm going to wash my bell peppers with white vinegar and baking soda. Now, I'm not going to use all of this bell pepper. I'm just going to use one green one in order to help flavor the meat that we're going to bake off first. But I have other bell peppers that I'm going to use for a different recipe today. So I'm just going to wash and scrub them all at one time. Next up is to slice our bell pepper. And like our onion, we're going to use this to help flavor our meat and allow it to release its natural flavorful juices. So how we cut it really isn't that important. You could do long slices or short slices. This is really more of a flavoring agent for our meat. You could use bell peppers of any choice, but I really like green bell peppers with beef. So here I have my bell pepper and onions in my pan. These are the specific seasonings I'm going to use on my meat: avocado oil, thyme, garlic, smoked paprika, black pepper, onion, and oxtail seasoning. So now I'm just giving my meat a general rinse off. It's just a habit I have when I wash my beef. And you want to take a knife and put some small little slits in it so that your seasonings can help penetrate through the meat. I like oxtail seasoning for beef as well as for pork. It has a nice flavor combination. And I am using thyme to flavor the meat, and I'm going to use a little bit of oregano to flavor the soup. So I like to have a combination of some good solid seasonings going on here. So we put oil on it first and then our dry seasonings. And now I'm just massaging in the seasonings well into all the crevices and the little slits that we cut in, just to make sure that the meat gets flavored through and through. The bell pepper and onions are also getting a little bit of seasoning, and I make sure to place some on top, so as it releases juices, it releases it where? Right into our meat. Look at how beautiful this looks before we even stick it in the oven. Now I am going to add about a cup or so of water. If you have some stock that you want to use, you can, but it's really not that necessary for me. I'm going to cover this with tin foil. My roast is 2.35 pounds, so I'm going to cook it for about 2 hours at 325 degrees. You can check yours halfway through to see if it's tender enough or if you need to increase the time or the heat. And look at how beautiful my roast is. So I do not want to cook this until it's falling apart, because remember, we're going to cook this a little bit more in our soup. So I don't want it to be overcooked at that time. So 2 hours was perfect for me, and it's still easy to break apart with my hand. So I'm just pulling out big chunks to place in a separate bowl while we prep the soup. I don't want my pieces to fall apart and be completely shredded in the soup. So I'm just doing big chunks now, and then I could break it apart more in the soup or let it happen naturally. I'm using my beautiful Teflon soup pot. I love it because it has the pour spout on it, and then it has the little holes to help pour soups and liquids from it. So I have a link to this pot in my description if you'd like it. I'm starting off my soup by adding about 2 cups of water just so I can boil my carrots to let them get a little bit soft. This is a 1-pound bag of baby carrots that I had in my refrigerator, so I figured this is a perfect time to use it. And I added a little bit more water just to cover my carrots. So as I prep the other ingredients for the soup, my carrots will be cooking down a bit. First off, I'm going to wash my cabbage in white vinegar before I give it a chop up. Now, you could leave out the carrots altogether and just use cabbage to make this a lower carb soup. And if you did that, you might want to use more cabbage than I am using here. I'm just using a small wedge of cabbage because I have the other vegetables going in. But use the amount of cabbage to your liking and cut it up the way you like. So you can shred it, you can do big slices. I'm doing medium-sized, fork-sized squares, and that's enough for me. And I'm also chopping up 1 yellow onion. You can see I use a lot of onion throughout my recipes. And again, we're going to cut this onion in similar size squares as our cabbage, just nice fork-sized pieces. I guess I should say spoon-sized pieces since this is a soup, and we'll be using a spoon to eat it. And next up is my garlic. I love fresh garlic. I just give it a whack with a wide blade knife to help release it from the skin, and then peel it and chop it up. You can certainly use more garlic than me if you want to, or you can use a little bit less. It's all up to your personal preference. Look at how beautiful my vegetables look, and I love how aromatic the onions and garlic are. It's going to make for some great flavor. So now it's time to check back on my carrots, and I can see them boiling away. I'm going to leave that water in there because it will simmer out as we let this soup reduce down. So I'm just adding my can of no salt diced tomatoes, as well as my 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I really do like to let my canned tomatoes cook down a bit to help get a deeper flavor. So what I'm doing here is just giving the tomatoes a little mix, and we're going to let this simmer down for a few minutes, about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to add some seasoning, including black pepper, my oregano leaves, and I'm seasoning to taste. So I'm using a couple of tablespoons, 2 or 3 tablespoons of oregano because I really like that. A little bit of black pepper, maybe half a teaspoon. I'm using some garlic powder and onion powder. And again, this is to your tasting. If you don't know what kind of tasting you'd like, start off with this big pot with 1 or 2 tablespoons. And then give it start off with 1 tablespoon. And then as it cooks down, you can taste it and decide if you want to add a 2nd tablespoon. I have this container of bay leaves that I want to use up, so I'm just taking the remainder that I have. These are dried bay leaves, but I'm crushing them up with my hand. You could use a mortar and pestle to make it more of a powder, but this little bit of crunchy bay leaf is okay with me. So now I'm giving my seasoned tomatoes and carrots a stir just to give it time to incorporate. And it's simmering down. I let it go for about another 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm adding my onions. I'm adding my onions and my garlic, but I'm not going to add my cabbage at this time because I don't want my cabbage to get mushy. So I'm going to leave that to the side for now and then give it another 5 minutes. Now, I have this simmering. I have it on level 2, but my stove gets really, really hot. So you want to kind of monitor your soup every few minutes. And look at mine. Mine is boiling even though I didn't expect it to be, but that's okay. It's going to help it reduce down and thicken and have a lot of flavor. So I'm just giving it a stir to see if my onions are soft, and they are. So now it's time for me to add my cabbage. And again, I'm going to reduce my heat a little bit more even just so it doesn't cook too fast for me. But whenever you're cooking, especially soups that don't contain a lot of fat, you want to make sure you don't go too far away from your kitchen so that you can check it often to be sure it's not scorching on the bottom. And look at this, y'all. After just a couple of minutes, my cabbage is wilting down and looks so beautiful. Now that my water and tomatoes have reduced down, I'm adding about 1.5 cups of beef stock. And this beef stock adds an amazing complexity, an amazing element of flavor. So you definitely don't want to leave it out. Whether you use beef stock or beef broth will be your personal preference. I'm going to give it a stir and let it continue to simmer. And look at this, y'all. This part of the soup is really done now. This is vegetable soup with some beef stock. So you could use vegetable stock if you want to make this completely vegan and eat it at this point. But I'm going to go an extra step. and let this cook down and then add some meat to it. So this is a perfect time to give it a taste and decide if you need to add any more seasonings. I decided to actually set some of this vegetable soup to the side in a little mason jar just to have without the meat, even though it does have beef stock, so it's not vegan. And look at this. It looks so beautiful in my little mason jar. I'll have this the next day. So now it's time to add my beef. So I shredded my beef and put it in a separate bowl, and I'm just adding it with a gloved hand to my soup pot. And I'm breaking up the pieces that are extra big. Look at that, y'all. When I set my beef to the side, I added the pan drippings to it as well to help keep it moist as I let this meat sit in the refrigerator. I reheated it for a minute or so in the microwave just so that I could separate the meat from the pan drippings. You want to be sure when you pull this beef off to pull off the fat, because at this point you don't want to add fat to your soup. Now I am going to go ahead and add the chopped bell peppers and onions that cook with the meat and my pan drippings because there is no fat or gristle in it. But again, that's a personal choice if you want to do that. And now I'm just going to give it a light stir, and look at how meaty it looks. This is absolutely delicious, and it's so because we flavored our meat well when we cooked it, and then we flavored our soup base with vegetables well, so everything comes together in an absolute beautiful way. This is an absolutely delicious pot roast soup, and it's lower carb than your typical beef stew because we don't have potatoes, we didn't add any flour or cornstarch, and you can make the soup even lower carb by not adding carrots, as I mentioned before. You could add cabbage, you could add fresh green beans or okra. That would be absolutely delicious. There are so many options to make a delicious soup with any leftover pot roast meat that you have, and cooking it in the soup will help make it extra tender and keep it moist. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel.